let's solve each equation. The first step is to clear the fractions by multiplying the equation by the LCD. In this case, the LCD is equal to n times n plus 1. So when I multiply the LCD times the first equation, you can see how this n here is going to cancel with this n. So we have the existing numerator, and we're going to multiply it by what's left of the LCD. So we get 1 times n plus 1 plus 2, which is the existing numerator here. And if I multiply the LCD times the second fraction, the x plus 1 is going to cancel with this x plus 1, so I just have this n. So that gives me 2n. And that's equal to 2, which is the existing numerator, times the LCD, because I don't cancel anything because my denominator here is equal to 1. So 2 times n plus 1. So here I get n plus 1 plus 2n is equal to 2n squared plus 2n. So if I combine like terms here, I get 3n plus 1 is equal to 2n squared plus 2n. So because I want to solve this, and I know I have a quadratic equation because I have a second degree or an exponent of 2, I want to move everything to the left-hand side, or the right-hand side, excuse me, so I can end up with 0. So I'm going to subtract 3n and subtract 1. Subtract 3n and subtract 1. And I get 2n squared minus n minus 1 is equal to 0. So now I can factor either using the factoring techniques, or we can plug it into the quadratic equation. In this case, it's going to be easier to factor. So I'm looking for two numbers that add up to -1 and multiply to a -2. So that would be a -2 and a +1. So I put them in a box. Remember, you put your first term in the first box, so 2n squared. You put the -2 and the variable for the middle term, so -2n, and then this 1, and again the variable, so 1n, and then this -1. So 2n squared and -2n have a 2n in common. 2n times n will give me this 2n squared. 2n times the -1 will give you this -2n. n times 1 will give me the 1n, and 1 times the -1 will give me this -1 there. So when I factor this, I get 2n plus 1, n minus 1 equal to 0. So I'm going to use the zero factor property to solve. If two factors have a product of 0, then one factor or the other factor are equal to 0. So 2n plus 1 equal to 0, n minus 1 equal to 0. So subtract 1 from both sides. Get 2n is equal to -1. Divide it by 2, we get n is equal to -1/2. We add 1 to both sides, and we get n is equal to 1. So the solution for this would equal to -1/2 and 1.